With your kind permission, we would like to invite onto the stage the candidate for the All Progressive Congress, I beg your pardon, Olorogun Otega Emero. And so, I would like to now call on the candidate of the Labour Party, Chief Great Ogoru, to please join us on the stage. Okay. To get started, we would like to have speeches from both the candidates, opening statements from both of the candidates, and let them address us at this point, and then we'll take it up from there. Olorogun Otega Emero.
Deltans. Good evening, the very good people of Delta. I stand before you this evening as the governorship candidate of All Progressive Congress APC. I want to begin by saying a big thank you to the organizers of this debate and to thank you for providing this opportunity that will allow me as a candidate of my party for the April 11 election to put before the people, the good people of Delta State, the very manifesto and programs that I intend to execute to the benefit of Deltans. My name is Olorogun Otega Emero. I have a business background. I've been in politics for a while. I'm motivated to come to politics because of the experience I've acquired in my business sphere. I have worked as a turnaround manager, and I believe Delta State today require my services. I am committed to this cause, and in the course of this debate, I believe I will have the opportunity to showcase what I can do to move this state forward, because in my campaign so far, what I have seen in Delta State shows that we need a man who can rescue this state and move it forward. That is what I intend to do this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. You just heard from the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Olorogun Otega Emero. At this time, we would like to hand the mic over to the candidate of the Labour Party, Chief Great Obije Ogoru.
Uruguado? Izo? Izo Kimimi? Chekria Jamokia? Ndupa Ajajenio? Ndiom Notofio? Messiah. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the bottom of my heart, I must apologize for what I have to say now. We had come here with all expectations, thinking we will be having a debate, a very robust one for that matter, on the issues concerning our state. Unfortunately, the main contender with myself is unavoidably absent, and for better reasons, I am not able to continue with the debate. Be that as it may, I will be happy if after the presidential elections, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party finds it fit and time for us to have that debate. I will be here. like to leave my reasons to myself at this stage. Thank you very much, and please accept my apologies.
Rest assured that Delta State will move forward. Delta State will remain united in spite of the plans and towns of several people. Thank you very much indeed for your patience. We'll keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished candidate has just identified his interest to take certain questions and in doing so, respond to touching issues that reach out to the heart of the people of Delta State. We ask you to kindly maintain a high level of decorum. Let us abstain from the partisan chanting and try to be the responsible crowd that we have tried to be so far, so that we'll listen to him, take on questions on pertinent issues that touch on Delta State. I assure you that we are not going to have a wasted night. Thank you very much indeed. The question session will start very shortly. What confidence do you have in the Nigerian electoral process today?
Thank you very much. Again, the good people of Delta State that are here today to listen to their candidates, to address their needs on how Delta State will be governed from May 29, 2015. I would like to start by pointing out that in spite of what you have seen here tonight, take heart, Delta State will move forward. And I also want to put the perspective of what is happening here very clear. I believe strongly that what has happened here is stage managed. Of course, you do know that the candidate of the PDP and the candidate of the Labour, they work together. On Saturday, they will be voting for the same presidential candidate. So in fact, I was coming here to debate them as one party, not two. They represent where we are today. In fact, the Labour Party is pretending to be a separate party. When you realize, when you look at the placement, the earlier advertisement, I wanted to criticize the organizer for putting me in the middle, separating these two people. But I congratulate you now for putting them together.
Thank you very much indeed. That has been quite an elaborate speech. We're looking at the issue of militancy, and we're thinking, how do you manage ex-militants whose activities tend to undermine governmental authority? Olorogun came very prepared, and at this point, I am at a point where I cannot do this alone anymore. So please permit me to bring onto this stage a panel of very distinguished personalities. I'm going to start with a very beautiful woman who is a TV personality, needs very little introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Mrs. Adesuwa Onyenokwe. I think another round of applause is perfectly placed. Thank you very much indeed. This one, please. Next, I have a professor of economics from the University of Benin. He's the immediate past chairman of ASU Uniben. He's currently the coordinator of ASU in Benin Zone. He's the current head of the Department of Economics and Statistics from the University of Benin and the National Secretary of the Nigerian Economic Society. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Anthony Banye Emina. Last, certainly not the least, I'd like to bring onto the stage as well a former captain of the Nigerian cricket team, a former television personality, former press secretary to the Delta State Governor, former general manager, Delta Broadcasting Service, former government and community relations manager, Shell Petroleum Development Company, now a communications consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Olorogun Donald Honorede Orerejo. Somebody said that clap is not 2015 compliant. Thank you very much indeed. At this time, I'd like to hand the mic over to the panelists, and I have no doubt in my mind that we are going to have an interesting session tonight. Over to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the panelists, we must say thank you for those that have stayed behind. We agreed earlier today that we are all here simply because we are concerned Deltans, and we thought that for the first time, Deltans will have the opportunity to have a robust debate between three candidates and all the issues that we thought we had ironed out and zoned down to 6 different issues will be thrashed out today. Not everybody can be at the rallies, but as it is, we have decided to go ahead with this because it will be recorded, and some of the issues that were raised with this candidate was the only one that's brave enough to sit back and answer the questions. The other candidates can watch the video and probably respond to the questions. So we would start by asking, we had addressed 6 different areas. We wanted to talk about security. We also wanted to talk about nepotism and ethnicity. We also wanted to talk about the Millennium Development Goals and the economy. So, and also, of course, the issue of ex-militants. So we're going to go this way. I'll take one question. He responds to it, or we just pass the microphones around. The first question that we had set out to ask all 3 candidates was the issue centered around resources, for the state's resources, and also the issue of the number of underutilized ports in Delta State today. We had addressed this question on the issue of resources because we know that Nigeria's economy is very dependent on oil. And so oil, they say, is very important. But in recent times, we do know there's going to be a gap. The price of oil has gone down. So we wonder how your party or your administration, we address the issue of internally generated revenue, and instead of waiting for going cap in hand to the federal government for money, and also what your specific strategies are to attract investments to Delta State, especially, like I said earlier, against the backdrop of the underutilized ports that already exist in the state.
Thank you very much, and let me welcome the panel to their seat. I'm grateful that you've decided to take on this debate in spite of what has happened, and I will address your question.
I have a simple question for you. It has to do with education and also related to unemployment challenges.
Thank you.
In terms of educational opportunities, accessibility, and so on, Delta State has potentials, right?
Yes.
And then there is this contention that the unemployment challenges that we face in Delta State has to do with a disconnect between the educational needs and the opportunities. In other words, the educational opportunities do not meet the needs of the society. And that tends to compound the unemployment problem. My question is, what will you do to make education functional and hence help to mitigate the challenges of unemployment?
Thank you very much. Education.
Thank you very much. Before I come in, just to remind the coordinator about our timing, so we don't overrun. Now, I'd like to take you to the issue which is it's become very important in our politics in the last 16 years. That issue of political patronage, party patronage, vis-a-vis the interests of the wider society which the government is supposed to represent. This question was meant for all three of you, so they are as they were before we got the situation we got ourselves into. And the question is, whereas political patronage by itself is not a bad thing because you expect people who work for the parties to also benefit from the government. The experience has been that those people in the parties appear to have all the pie to themselves. And as you said in your opening remarks, if you don't know somebody somewhere, you don't get anything. And it leaves a very, very bad feeling among the people. I mean, it's not possible for everybody to know somebody in government. In terms of opportunities, in terms of contracts, jobs in the civil service, people have quotas well ahead of those opportunities emerging. As a party that appeals to the people for votes at this time, what do you have to say you will do, should you be elected governor, to assuage this feeling that it's a winner-take-all situation with your party? Would that be the case with the APC?
Thank you very much, Mr. Virgil, for this question. The truth is that you truly cannot easily separate this kind of patronage that you are describing from corruption, because they walk hand in hand. One of the major reasons Nigerians are pushing for APC is because we have clearly stated in our manifesto that we are going to confront corruption. The monster of corruption, we are going to confront it and we are going to defeat it. The truth is, okay.
Another very troublesome issue.
Sorry?
Another very troublesome issue with governance in the state has been that of law, security, law and order.
All right.
A good number of business organizations have had to take flight from this state.
Unfortunately.
On account of the absence of a serious law and order arrangement where criminality was placed where it rightly belonged. There's been a tendency to paper over it and just hope that God will do something about it. In that vein, the state has suffered loss of investment. I don't like to mention names of the companies that have left for that reason. My question is, as serious as this is, I would expect that you're giving thought to how to put in place. Bearing in mind also that the security apparatus in the state are not directly under your control as such, but this is your state, this will be your state should you be elected. What will you do to ensure that people, businesses have a safe haven in Delta by ensuring that criminality is dealt with accordingly?
Thank you, sir, for all your responses. I am concerned about the Millennium Development Goals. This is a parameter for human development, and one of the key sectors, one of the key areas is in area of health. And healthcare, we do know, ensures that people are healthy. But I wonder how you will make healthcare accessible to all of Delta, especially when you consider that most of Delta is still not connected by road. Even where primary healthcare centers exist, there are no nurses in them. And I'm wondering how this, how your party and your government is keen into those development goals, and what specific roles what strategies do you have in mind? Because when you talk about those goals, you have child mortality, maternal mortality, you have gender equality, you also have degradation of the environment. So this is a 5-pronged question, but it's all tied to the Millennium Development Goals with health as the bottom line.
Thank you. The truth is...
Let's say 2 minutes. Just
give me 3.
Okay. Okay. Even knowing that you're not Oliver Twist, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Just tick off what your priorities will be. What will people here and those who listen to this later take away as the expectations of the APC government in Delta State?
Thank you. When I was coming to this debate, I really planned to be talking to my 2 other opponents. Yes, I'm talking to the audience, but I know this message will get to them. I came here to prove that I'm the better candidate. I came here to tell Deltans that I'm the person who is coming from a business and competent background that will deliver the goods. I was coming to say that my brother, Senator Okowa Ifeanyi, for example, has been tried for the past 16 years. He has been in government for the past 16 years in the PDP, and if he had any good ideas, we would have been seeing them today. I was coming to tell him that they brought us to this situation and that he's not qualified to continue to ask for a renewal of lease. Now, the other brother, Great Ogboro, is really can't be separated from Okowa and PDP, because on Saturday they will vote for the same principal, which means they want a continuation. So for me, that is him. And I do not believe that if we compare in terms of things we have done in managing and providing and improving, I will stand taller than him. Now, having said that, I'm coming with new ideas that they are not thinking about. Take housing development. I don't need Delta people to begin to save 10 million, 20 million to build houses. I tend to address the issue of housing by government participating in opening up new green areas, providing basic infrastructures, inviting estate developers, partnering them with financial institutions such that they can build houses that a working Delta state can take mortgages, and instead of paying rent, pay mortgage. I'm coming to tell Deltans that I will solve that problem for them. I'm coming to tell them that infrastructure, particularly roads, we will bring partners, investors here. Focus. They are the king, and I am the person to serve them. That is what I'm coming to tell them.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much indeed. I'm sorry I have to stop you again here. At this point, I'd like to say a very big thank you once again to the audience. Many thanks to the lovely panelists. And also many thanks to Olorugun Otega-Emero for being so bold, so confident to stand before the people of Delta State, watching at home and watching live here to tell us what he has to offer. At this point, we must begin to wrap up because every good thing must come to an end. And but for us to go, we do have a certificate of participation for the APC candidate, Olorugun Otega-Emero, and I'd like to call on a genuine game changer, somebody who's passionate also about Delta State and who has been very instrumental to bringing us this far to help us present that certificate this evening. Igbo Gwegu, please.